During the early years of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, people on the internet were much more gullible. Nowadays, in most cases, we can tell when something is real and when it's fake, whether it's created by artificial intelligence or a well-crafted edit. The fandom has fallen victim to multiple edits and fabrications designed to surprise fans and spark speculation. Now, more than 10 years after the release of the first game, what better way to take advantage of nostalgia than by creating content while we wait for the next official release? I know this is a topic that has been covered many videos, but this time I want to do it chronologically. We'll go through the saga game by game, from the oldest to the most recent. Without further ado, let's begin. Back in the days of Five Nights at Freddy's 1, rumors were scarce since the fandom was still small and just beginning to take shape. However, various urban legends existed. One of them claimed that if you set all the animatronics to level 6 in the custom night, the game would take on a demonic atmosphere. Another rumor claimed that the kitchen camera could be unlocked, allowing players to see Golden Freddy. There was also speculation that Scott Cawthon had based the game's story on a real-life massacre that occurred at a Chuck E. Cheese. Undoubtedly, the most well-known rumor was the existence of a secret animatronic besides Golden Freddy, called Sparky the dog. It was said that this canine animatronic hid in the parts service room and had an extremely low chance of appearing, which is why very few people had supposedly seen him. For something created in 2014, the fake image that made him famous still looks surprisingly real even today. However, the truth is that Sparky came from the imagination of two artists, Codiabear and Gwyn. The first was responsible for creating the rumor on Tumblr, an image board that was at one of its highest peaks of popularity, where he claimed that there was a sixth hidden animatronic in the game. He made one of the first sketches of the animatronic, in which we could see a dog wearing overalls with a dismembered arm. The rumor didn't go very far until Gwyn arrived, who created this drawing in Paint Tool, which at first glance looks like a blurry stain. But when you add the background, we notice that it is the legendary image of Sparky the dog. This rumor completely got out of their hands and spread to fandoms in different languages, with many people believing it actually existed. Sparky became so iconic that even Scott found out about its existence and made it canon in the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, making it the first fan-made animatronic to become official, a great detail for longtime fans. I know this isn't an animatronic, but it happened during the same era. I'm talking about the legendary fake image of a real-life Freddy Fazbear's Pizza location. This rather simple edit fooled a huge number of people at the time. Eventually, it was discovered that the place was actually a restaurant from the Papa's Pizza Parlor franchise located in Oregon, which interestingly has very poor and mediocre reviews. Now let's move on to the fake animatronics from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Although there aren't many, the ones that do exist are quite interesting. This game introduced many new elements, including the toys, Withered, Puppet and Purple Guy as an antagonist. This led to a large number of edits that many gullible people ended up believing were real. The most popular of these was the Purple Guy animatronic, because of course, a serial killer would obviously have a marketable suit. Interestingly, this concept somehow became real with the creation of Springtrap. It was said that this animatronic could appear during the nights, but in reality it was just an edit of Golden Freddy with Toy Chica's head and a security badge. I won't deny that its design is quite terrifying, and I understand why many people believed it was real, especially at a time when we didn't know much about the story. This edit comes from a video uploaded by the user Roxo1987, where the animatronic appears for just a few milliseconds. The video wasn't very popular nor was it well made, but the screenshot went viral because it looked quite convincing. The rest of the fake animatronics from the second game can be summed up as simple recolors, something Scott really enjoys doing. From Golden Toy Freddy, because if Golden Freddy and Withered Golden Freddy exist, of course there had to be a toy version, to Shadow Balloon Boy for some reason, and the Grey Puppet, which many believed was real. Without a doubt, the second game was where the most recolors were made, but the community still wasn't ready for the madness that was Five Nights at Freddy's 3, probably the golden age of fake animatronics. Remember when the first teaser featuring Springtrap was released? A large part of the community theorized that it was the phone guy trapped inside Golden Freddy. The theory became so popular that someone even made a pretty bad fan game where the character attacks you. Definitely one of the best fake animatronics ever created. On top of that, several original characters made by the community started to emerge, many of which people genuinely thought were real. One example is Sugar, the beta version of Candy the Cat, who because of a Five Nights at Freddy's 3 fan game, many believed would actually appear in the real game. However, Sugar was actually created by Emil Mako for Five Nights at Candy's. Some classics, like the Withered toys, are edits created by the user Fazboggle, whose account no longer exists today. That's where infamous characters like Withered Balloon Boy, Withered Puppet and the ultra-damaged Golden Freddy. There was even a widespread belief in the community that a hybrid animatronic would emerge from the box of parts to attack us. For some reason, people also thought a repaired Withered Bonnie was going to appear. I won't deny that this edit was really well made and the image became quite famous. There was also another image going around of a supposed amusement park called Freddy Land, which some claimed would be the setting for the third game. As Five Nights at Freddy's fans, we were pretty naive to believe we'd get a game of that scale so soon. There were definitely way too many fake edits related to Five Nights at Freddy's 3, and that's just talking about the ones that came out before the game was even released. Once the third game came out, edits like Phantom Bonnie started appearing, edits that looked incredibly realistic, and I can see why a lot of the community believed they were legitimate. Without a doubt, Five Nights at Freddy's 3 featured the craziest and most varied fake animatronics in the entire series, with some edits that were really well done and others that were pretty questionable, but it didn't stop there. Five Nights at Freddy's 4 kept the tradition alive, this time with the concept of turning the animatronics into nightmare versions. From the Nightmare toys, Nightmare Springtrap and Nightmare Purple Guy to the unforgettable Nightmare Fan, definitely one of the most curious edits in the whole franchise, the fandom's creativity knew no bounds. Honestly, no one really believed these edits, no matter how well made they were. The fandom had already gotten used to being fooled, and many of these designs simply lacked that unmistakable Scott style we all knew so well. The only edit that managed to fool the community for a few days was Nightmare JJ, created by user Gamotion, as it was released on the same day as the Halloween edition, when not everyone had access to the game files yet. Unfortunately, there's not much more to say about that game. Moving on to Five Nights at Freddy's World, it's mainly remembered for the rumors surrounding the infamous Update 3, which never came out, despite the game having significant potential for further development. There were rumors that the game would add characters from Sister Location, mainly due to the presence of Funtime Foxy in the base game. Another rumor pointed to the inclusion of characters from Pizzeria Simulator. As is well known, Update 3 never happened, due to Scott's lack of interest in updating the darkest chapter of the franchise. As for Sister Location, there isn't much else to highlight. By then, the community had become less gullible. Even so, several edits of Funtime Puppet circulated, which some believed. The most popular fake animatronic was a version of Funtime Chica, although it emerged quite some time after the game's original release. There's little I can say about the following games. Although some people believe that Lefty had a brother named Righty, or that there were more secret animatronics in Ultimate Custom Night, the truth is that there weren't many fake animatronics after Five Nights at Freddy's 4. This is because, as soon as a new game was released, the community would dig through its files. However, after the Security Breach trailer was released, a new fake animatronic called Fliptrap emerged. The rumor began when the arm of a mysterious endoskeleton appeared, which later turned out to be Burntrap. The theory, which originated on 4chan, claimed that this character was a glitched version of Springtrap. Although there were some out-of-place details, the screenshot looked quite realistic. As for the movie, there were countless fan edits released before the official trailer came out, especially ones featuring the withered animatronics and even some with Fredbear. This whole phenomenon of fake animatronics was incredible. It lasted for many years since the release of the first game, and personally, it's one of my favorite aspects of the franchise, as it truly encouraged the creativity of the community. These were the most important fake animatronics over time in the entire Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. If you liked the video, I invite you to subscribe, like and comment.